another week, more reading, all the fun stuff. I hope everybody had a lovely Resurrection Sunday. We sure did. It was very strange. So I got me a spiral ham. Do this often. Then we have, you know, ham sandwiches and things throughout the week, right? This is the weirdest ham ever. So I put it in my Instant Pot to have it warm by the time I got home, right? It was both dry and juicy at the same time. It was good. You know, it was good, but what? It was the strangest thing ever. I'm just saying, it was really, really, really bizarre. But, yeah, so, you know, we had that, and my goals that I've been working on this week, I had a plan for, you know, I thought it would take me 2 or 3 days to do my room, because I was literally going to go through every piece of paper in the files, all the things, right? Yeah, it's going to be another 3 days, at least. I have my closet done, and I have my closet done. Okay, so I have other parts of the room done as well, but not as a whole. I have pieces done, but mostly those pieces are just pieces because, well, yeah, it's a thing. There's nothing I can do about it. You know, I have to get it done. And the next papers are tax papers that I have to go through and, you know, sort by and make sure that they're filed into the right places so that if we ever need them, we have them. Yeah. So that's going to, it's just a small stack, but it's still like, you know, not excited about doing that. But, you know, you do what you got to do. I'm about half done with clearing off a desk that I have in there. Yeah, I need that cleared off because right now our printer is in my kitchen and I want it out. You know, it's one of those things, I never liked it in there to begin with, but you do what you've got to do sometimes. And once upon a time, I needed that desk for actually writing. That was before Shedifice. Now it is, oh, I don't know where I'm going to put this, so I'm going to set it on Mom's desk. And it piles up and I put stuff and put it away. And then it piles up and I'm like, no. No, if people have to fight to get to the printer because they've piled stuff up there, they'll stop piling stuff. So this is my theory anyway. I hope I'm right. You know, it's just like you got to do what you got to do. But it's like stuff is getting out. Every single day, I'm down to 3 things. I still have to find 3 things in the Shedifice tonight to get rid of. But every single day, I've gotten rid of 11 things. Actually, multiplied by 3 or 4 or 5. Because, like, you know, a whole bunch of papers that I decided could get tossed. They went into a brown paper bag. That whole bag I counted as 1. We have like 6 or 7 crepe paper streamers from Lorna's 21st birthday party. Yeah, I put them all in a bag. That's 1. You know, I mean, so lots and lots and lots of things. If it all fits in a box, the box counts as 1 thing instead of individual items. And so if you go by individual items, it's been hundreds already. Easily. But I'm going with, you know, because I'm going for maximum stuff. I mean, it's like, get this out of here. So it's really been cool, but it's not going as fast as I would like. And the writing is going slow, which is not good. So I do have to find a way to pick up the pace on writing this week, which may mean I don't get to read quite as much, but I'm still going to be reading. So I've kept up with about every 2 or 3 days. I've been doing another one of the 75 masterpieces. I got to, tonight was supposed to be like the road to the cross or something about the cross, some painting that I don't know. And I was going to do it. I was going to make sure I did it tonight because it's like the perfect night, Resurrection Sunday, you know, all the things, you know, because I couldn't get there in time for Friday. So I was like, yeah, you know, it's still same smell, right? Yeah, couldn't do it. And you know what? That's okay because we need to remember all this beyond right now. So, you know, trying to force it, I knew I wasn't going to be paying as close of attention to this as I wanted to. So I was like, no, just no. I'm going to stop here and, you know, just kind of move over, deal with it later, just kick back, don't take it too seriously, because the whole point of this is to learn, right? So I didn't. But I did get some reading done tonight, and Okay, this week I finished 7 books. Some I had already started, some I hadn't started yet. So, I mean, it was a lot of reading. Again, some I had started and some I had not. So, you know, there's that to consider. But I don't have them in any particular order. Let's start with Illuminary. Illuminary I finished. Guys, okay, here's the deal. I forgot that Illuminary, it's a little bit like Nancy Mel. I mean, because we had talked about this on the podcast, which is how I know, that I forgot. But Illuminary, the story wraps up completely. 100%, it's completely wrapped up. But like Nancy Mel's Mind Games, the very, very end kicks off the next. You're like, wait, what? So I'm sitting over here going, I need the audio. Where's the audio? Give me the audio. But it's not available yet. So, and I mean, part of me is just going, maybe I should just read it physically. I don't care. I don't know. But I really want to read. I really want to just continue with the audio. So I'm not going to. But okay, Illuminary. Here's the deal. It is, I talked about it a little bit last time, but it's got the settings of a little princess. In that our main girl, Yoshi, is from a place like India. Our main guy, and there is no romance going on in this one. So nice. But and I'm not opposed to romance in and of itself, but it becomes such every single story has to have it because reasons instead of because it's a natural outpouring of the story. I think at this point, if/when, I mean, come on, it's going to develop, right? It's going to make more sense than if it had in this first book. So I like what she did. I'm very, very impressed with what she did. But so we have this guy, he's from a place like England that had kind of colonized, if you will, or like taken over and then retreated kind of thing. They got their freedom back, all the things, right? It's kind of like taking the colonization and then release of India and adding on to it the Israelites and God's provision for them after they left Egypt. It's kind of like she mashed all that together into this story. In this, as a celebration of God's deliverance and provision and all the things, particularly with water, reminds me of that rock was it Horeb? Anyway, there's the rock. They strike the rock, speak to the rock, don't speak to the rock, but they should have spoke to the rock. That whole thing. In reminiscent of that, when God's provision. So they have this thing, and they have lots of. They have this, and I talked about it, but I'm not talking about it again because there were things I didn't mention. They have this challenge that different teams of 6 compete against each other to be like the best, and they do things like archery or other weaponry, but they also do things like, and this is what I forgot, where they have to go into this tea room and they have to like compete at being proper. It's so funny, but it's so good too, because in this situation something happens, and I don't think it's a spoiler. I don't think this is a spoiler, but if you want to skip it just in case, go ahead. I can't see how there's any spoileriness to this. But so in this place, the woman who is in charge of providing, this lovely tea, and it's supposed to be this very diplomatic, very proper setting, she is incredibly rude to what they call a menial, someone who is serving them. And the menial had made a mistake, had like stumbled or something, and the dishes are rattled or spilled or something. I don't remember how far that went. But the woman is angry with her and dismisses her. You're fired. Get out. And it's like, and so here's this awkward situation for everyone. And Yoshi manages to respectfully but firmly say, that's wrong. The way you treated her was wrong. Everyone makes mistakes. And she was requested to give her opinion based upon different things. But, you know, she's honest, she's respectful, she's, you know, deferential even, despite the fact that I suspect socially, her social class, I think is actually higher. But it doesn't matter. She kind of does this. So this is part of this thing. There's an academic thing. There's artistic things. They're just very, very varied. And one was like a puzzle. And so they're trying to get a group that is overarching, very good at all the things. And one of them, so they had to do this very artsy thing where someone has to give a dramatic reading and someone has to paint and someone has to sing, and they have to do all this together. And you just draw lots for which one you're going to do. And of course, our guy, who is a prince, he draws the worst one for him. And they all have to work around it and try to help him and try to get him comfortable and just all the things. It was really cool. The story was great. By the time I really got invested into it, I didn't want it to quit. It took me a little bit to get invested, mostly because of the narrator. And then I think I said in the last one, I think I moved it up to like 1.35, and right about there was the sweet 3.35, somewhere in there. It was a sweet spot that the narrator didn't bother me anymore. She has a naturally kind of breathy voice. And it just drove me nuts. But it's me. I know that Chawna Schrader loves her narrator. So it's just a personal preference. It's no big deal. I want to listen to the next audio because that's how I enjoyed the experience of this one. So, for what it's worth, it may not be my favorite narrator in general. I want to listen again. So it wasn't that bad. You know, it was just like not my favorite. So, Illuminary, can't wait for Perplexity, watching for the audio to show up. Right now, as of when I got it just like a week ago, I put Luminary... I went to do Luminary, and I was able to add it to my library free on Amazon. So right now they have a something going on with Enclave, I guess, and so you can listen free if you're an Audible member. So there's that one. Next up, I finished Fireworks. Why? He lives. I don't know. It's like, what on earth is going on? Okay. Anyway, speaking of fire, the next one I finished was Fire Mountain by Dana Mentink. I had gotten in that copy of Raging Waters, and I wanted to read it, but of course I need to read Fire Mountain first in my mind. Technically, you don't need to at all. I tend to, I'm that person. I want to read book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4. I just want to keep it in order. Having read both now, spoiler, having read both now, it truly doesn't matter. I mean, at all. Someone from the first book, barely, is the main character in the second book. And that's pretty much the overlap. That's almost all you get. So for what it's worth, it doesn't need to be read back to back, but I just saw this one again, and I'm like, okay, squirrel. But anyway, so Fire Mountain, what happens? And I think this is in the synopsis, so this isn't a spoiler. If not, it's definitely in the first, you read a sample thing. This part of my review would be in that for sure if it's not in the synopsis. Okay. So this gal is a trucker. She has her own trucking company. She has a dispatcher. And so one of the mountains in Washington is it's a volcano, and it's about to erupt. They are evacuating everyone. And on her way out, she gets a load that she needs to take. I think it's like office supplies, and she needs to take it somewhere. And she's like, well, if I'm leaving, I might as well have a job as I go out, then I'll get paid and life will be grand, right? So off she goes, and she wakes up in her rig, and she has this really souped up, I mean, it is nice. It's like a camper in there. I mean, it's beyond what I've seen for the old rigs. This thing is amazing. And so she wakes up. She's been injured. She's been in an accident. And oh, by the way, there's a bloody handprint on the window. Not only that, some guy is trying to get her out and wants to know why there's a baby strapped in the back. And she's like, I don't know anything about a baby. What are you talking about? And so they have to go because this volcano is about to erupt. They got to get out of there. They can't get the truck out of there. Oh no, now someone's after them. And guess what? She has no memory of anything. She doesn't know where, I mean, she doesn't, at the beginning, I don't even think she knows where she was going. She knows she's a trucker. That much she remembers, but she doesn't even know what she's carrying, where she was going. And of course, it makes him a little suspicious, you know. Well, this guy, he lives there. He saw the crash. And so he came down to get her. He wasn't going to leave until he absolutely had to. And now things are getting really, really dicey. So they need to go, but they can't. So he hauls them back to his place and gets them settled. And everything starts hitting. I mean, this was one of the most fast-paced. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. One thing right after the next. I mean, it's over and over. Just as they get a breather and they finally escape again, someone's after them again. And I called a few things in this thing. I mean, I was literally yelling at the characters. Okay, I was kind of doing it on my walk, and I'm kind of surprised I didn't get pulled over by an officer asking him what I was taking. Because I was so mad. I'm like, why can't you see that this is the thing? And I was right. I love it when I'm right. It doesn't happen often enough, so I got to really relish it when it does, right? So anyway, it was good though. It was really, really good. The end, everything just, it's one of those things where I want to say it wrapped up perfectly, but it makes it sound like there were no stakes, there's no costs, and that's not true. This is not a neat and tidy wrap up, but you do know the end of everything. You know why things happened, how they happened, and not all of it plays out on the page, but all of it that the page needs plays out on the page. You live it, and then you get the wrap up at the end, which is really nice. I loved it. Gave it 5 stars. I gave Illuminary 5 stars too, for what it's worth. And that was great. Then I finished, it's in the house. I finished Theo of Golden. And oh my goodness. Okay, so the second half of the book has quite, I want to say quite a bit, but it's not. But it's compared to the first half. It feels like there's quite a bit of mild language in it. It's not. I don't even know if it would fill both hands. You know, all the fingers, not, hold them all the... But I don't even know if it would hold that much. Because there wasn't any in the beginning, I was like, why? And all of it, in my opinion, was gratuitous. None of it needed to be there based upon how he'd been writing at the beginning. I do not know what switched. I don't understand. And I wish I could talk to him so I could ask him, why do we have this? And then it's like this. I'm not saying there wasn't a word or two in the beginning. Maybe, possibly. But if there were, that was it. But in the second half, it was almost like every chapter had its token word or two. I mean, it was like, why? I just don't understand why. But Theo is such a neat character. Now, a friend of mine on my message board said that she really loved it, but at the end, Theo became human to her, and she felt like she had lost this person to emulate. And it was really funny how two people can see the same thing and come away with two very different opinions about it. Because what I saw in Theo, goodness, okay. What I saw in Theo is, she's like, he became human and that was bad. What I saw is that Theo, when we get backstory on him finally, we see how he became who he was. And to me, that shows redemption, repentance, and growth in someone and all the things. This book will rip your heart out in all the best ways. I loved it so much that I got done and I stood up and I walked in the house, and part of me was like, you can give it to her after your video, but I didn't. I walked in the house and I gave it to my mom and I said, you've got to read this book. And she's like, it's good, huh? I'm like, yeah, you just read the book. This is like right up Mom's alley. And usually she likes the really suspenseful Baldacci and, people like that. She really likes high stakes, and she doesn't read a whole lot of Christian fiction. I would say Theo is fiction written by a Christian instead of outright Christian fiction, but same smell. So, but I gave it to her. The next morning she comes out and she says, it was the weirdest thing. This article about this guy showed up on my newsfeed. She's like, I didn't look him up. And my computer didn't hear me talking about it with you. Your computer didn't hear you talking about it. I don't know where this came from and how it got it, but it was just like it showed up. She's like, and there was some really, some fun little things that she had learned, and she was really excited to read it. But oh my goodness, Theo of Golden. I want to listen to it next. It's available on audio, so I'm going to listen to it next. Next up, Ladies' Guide to Marvels and Misadventures. Okay. We start off in a book with Clara, who I really don't like. And yet I do. I like her a lot. And I think what I don't like is who I see that she has become compared to who she really is. And that was really a fascinating way to meet and fall in love with a character, because that doesn't usually happen. I'm just saying. So, Clara's... I've talked enough about this ex-fiance that I don't think this is a spoiler. If it is, well, I spoiled it way back when. So Clara was engaged to a guy that she had known since she was like 12. They were really good friends, and they get engaged, and she finds out that he's deeply in debt. It's his father's debt, but he's deeply in debt and is marrying her to get her inheritance. That's why he's marrying her. So she breaks it off. He knows a secret about her family that includes someone in her family having gone to an asylum for the mentally unstable and dying there. And so he knows a letter exists proving this, and he is threatening her with exposure and giving all kinds, and he's putting rumors all over town. He's being horrible to her and not hiding it from her. He's not pretending he's not. It's really simple. All she has to do is agree to marry him, and he will be kind to her again. He will get her money, and he's not hiding the fact he wants her money, and he will pay off his father's debts, and then everything will be fine. And she's just like, no, just no. So he is out he's constantly trying to steal this letter, trying to find it, can't find it, and B, trying to prove that her family is crazy so that he can, hold that over her. She has gone into protection mode. That's a little beyond, this is a great lesson in not caring what other people think and who really is in control, because thinking that you're in control of anything is a false construct. You're just crazy if you think that you actually have any control. We need to be under the control of the one truly in control. That's what we need. And she has to learn that lesson. Meanwhile, there is a young guy, bless him. His name is Arthur, but his real name is like Theodore or something. Arthur had a horrible father, has lived just like an incredible life. He had a terrible experience was it with Napoleon? Must have been with Napoleon. I can't remember what. My snoring dogs. I love it. But he had a terrible experience with this guy. And the result was, you know, his father is even more angry with him. So he has been like cast out. He's just living his own life, doing his own thing, and runs into her grandfather, who is not just a clockmaker, but he makes automatons. And he makes this owl, this huge giant owl, and takes off, and people see him. And she's like, I can't believe he did this to me. They're going to see him. They're going to take him away. You know, she's just like, and he has sent, the grandpa has sent her mother, and her mother is totally crazy. Can I just say, this woman, delightfully crazy. She loves animals. She is like all about animals' rights. Like, she is the suffragette for animals of this time. It's just like she's chaining herself to that. I mean, it's just crazy. But they go on an adventure across Europe trying to catch up, follow his clues, do all the things to get him to come back home. And it just all goes from there. I knew I was going to like the book. I did. I mean, I thought it was going to be fluffy. This book is not fluffy. This is deep faith. It's not preachy. I learned all the lessons I need to, but where they would speak to each other, it very, speak the truth in love, give those faithful wounds, all the things, right? Where they did that, I learned my lessons that they were supposed to be learning, which was good. It was the best kind of faith. It didn't feel heavy, but it was rich. It was so very rich. It's one of those, if you could create a dessert that was crazy, crazy rich, and yet you don't fill up on it and feel heavy and sick afterwards, that was the faith in this book. And I loved it so much that I wrote my review, sent my review to Angela Bell, apologized to Angela Bell again. She had sent me an invitation to be an advanced reader when it first came out, and I didn't see it until like 3 months after the book released, and she had sent it like 3 months before it released. It was so bad. So anyway, she's like, you want to be on the launch team this time? So I signed up right away. I'm just like, I need to do this. So I should be getting a copy of the next book. I'm going to read it right away. I'm going to do the whole launch team thing because I need to completely support this. If it's half as good as this book was, it'll still be 5 stars. I'm surprised at how much I really did love this book. It's kind of crazy in all the best ways. So anyway, yeah, I'm keeping this one. I didn't think I would, but I'm definitely keeping this one because it's going to be one I want to read again and again. I'm actually going to try to get my friend Teresa to read it. She doesn't usually enjoy spec ficky kind of things, but yeah, I think she needs to read that one. Anyway, next I finished, I think, am I right? Yeah. Next I read and finished Who Am I to Judge by Emily Hanlon. I've been talking about this book for ages. Spoiler, I've already ordered book 2. It's on its way. I ordered it the second I closed it. This was such a surprise. Okay, I knew I would enjoy it. It's a mystery. It's going to be fun. There's a lady, the color of the purple pest. Her name is, I want to say it's Maria. It's Marya. But I think it's actually Maria. I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. But, and the reason I think it's Maria instead of Maria, because this one guy keeps calling her Myra. And I think that's weird. So it's a Maria and Martha mystery. The purple pest is older, and she goes around town. She keeps these little note cards with her with scriptures and quotes and things on them, and she passes them out to people randomly. She is kind of like an upstate New York or Boston, or I think they're in New York somewhere. Version of Miss Marple, sort of. She's that dotty, batty kind of old lady who everybody thinks is just a little crazy, but she's really astute and she sees things and she knows how to get people to underestimate her, including Martha, who wants nothing to do with her. Martha grew up wealthy in this area. I mean, because Cooperstown, New York, wherever that is, they're not that far from Cooperstown, right? So she grew up, Martha did, in this area to very wealthy parents who lost all of their money. And so all of the friends that she had all her life, yeah, they were gone. No more friendship for you. Just because you don't matter anymore. And I'm just like, I hate that kind of thing. It just drives me nuts. But anyway, so she was then like some sort of commissioner for the city, and lost that job because of an inept police officer, police guy, sergeant, captain, whatever. And so now she's driving Uber. And she's just like, she has a like summer home that her parents left her. She still has that. She uses it as an Airbnb, and that's where everything takes place. At her Airbnb, someone was killed, and it can either be the priests who stayed there, I don't remember what days of the week. Let's say it was Saturday night to Sunday, or it can be the couples that stayed there Sunday night, Monday, and whenever, through Wednesday, I think, at least somewhere around there. So it's got to be one of them, because who else would do this, right? Right? They're trying to find out who did it. People confess who didn't, because, I mean, as soon as people confess right away in the beginning of a mystery, you know they didn't do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I have seen it where someone confesses and I'm like, but you did it. Why are you confessing? And then I figure out there's a plan. But that's pretty rare. Usually if someone confesses right away, they didn't do it. And I'm just, it's obvious to me in this one that that's going to be one of them. So Martha and Maria are trying to figure out what's going on. Now they're both snoring. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Anyway, so it's just following all the clues and what's happening, and just thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. And in the end, it was good. I both called it and didn't. So I got the murderer, but I actually thought someone else was also involved who wasn't. And if I had known why the murderer, I had a different reason. If I had known why, I would have realized that the someone else wasn't involved. And that's all I can really say. But it was so good. It was so fun. Maria is the coolest character. She is so... and I learned things. Okay, so Martha has a habit of, instead of saying, oh my goodness, she'll say the empty eye sockets of Saint so-and-so or whatever. I mean, there's all these saints, and she'll bring in something about that saint I'd never heard of usually, and you would learn something about that saint by the way that she says this. And once she gets it wrong, which is really fun. It was a woman, and they thought that she died this way, but she actually died this other way. And it was just really kind of fascinating because Maria knew. And then Maria, I can't get past their snoring. Maria also made a comment about Martin Luther saying something. And Martha's like, why are you quoting Luther? And she's like, it's true. I loved it so much. So it was really cool. I mean, obviously they're Catholics. Okay, that's why the Martin Luther thing was funny. But anyway, it was so good. I loved it. A Cloud of Witnesses is on its way, and can't wait to read it. I think there are 3 so far in the series. I want more. If the second one is anywhere near as good as this one, I want more. All right, and almost lastly, I mentioned that I read Raging Waters. I actually listened to it on the audio. It was so good. Okay, so Fire Mountain, so far I've given them all 5 stars. This one got rounded up to 5 stars. I technically would give it 4.75 for one reason. The end. And I can't explain the end except to say that it both was too easy and yet was exactly what it needed to be. Until I come up with why the too easy isn't right, I'm leaving it there. But that's not to say I didn't enjoy the whole thing. Like Fire Mountain, everything that can go wrong does. You know how in a lot of books, when someone has something go wrong, the bad guy, bursts into the house and, starts spraying guns, and they manage to get out with the skin of their teeth. And then they, circle around back and get the bad guy. Yeah, that doesn't happen in here. These books, the bad guys are like, they're not going away. You are not getting rid of them. They keep coming back and back. And this time, it's not the same way that the last time was. Okay, I've said this like 5 times now. I'm going to start over because I want to get it easier. Okay, in the last book, our main guy's brother, Gideon, plays a very small role in helping near the end. An important role, but a small role. He's in here. He and his family, they were friends with our main gal. Mackenzie grew up with them. They were friends. Life is good. Her brother was best friends with Gideon, and they all just kind of, hung out together quite a bit. There was kind of I don't want to say childhood romance kind of thing going on, but almost. Just almost. But it was more of a mutual unspoken attraction as kids. That's gone because Mackenzie's brother, Aaron, was murdered, and they haven't found who did it. So she leaves the police academy. She was in the police academy at the time. She leaves and begins as a podcaster trying to solve cold cases while she figures out who killed her brother. That's her main goal in life. She wants to know who killed her brother, and she's going to do anything she can to prove who it is, how he did it, all the things. She shows up in this area just as a dam is about to break. It's raining. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong, and all the things. Right about that time, she runs across Gideon. She tries to get his help. He's not interested. She's treated him terribly since her brother died. She kind of blames him for her brother's death because he didn't stop her brother from doing all the stupid things he was doing. Yeah, that makes sense. She is such an unlikable person at the beginning of this book. Understandably, yes. But, I just wanted to shake her, slap her, get out of yourself, because she is so fixated. She is the Count of Monte Cristo in this book. She's so set on finding who killed her brother and bringing him to justice that it's turned into vengeance, and she is not going to let anything go. She just over and over and over puts them in terrible danger because of it. And it's all about all the things that she does to try to get this guy, even as Gideon is out there trying to save her, not just from herself, but from this raging flood that's about to take over them, and all the things that happen. It was really, really good. Again, the end, partly just totally realistic and partly too easy. And I can't decide which one wins out, because it really needs to be one or the other, I think. I don't know. But I loved it, and I want more. Guys, please write Ravel and beg them for 2 more. These are supposed to be the elements of danger. We have water, we have fire. Where is earth and wind? I need them. I want them. Please beg them for them. I haven't sent my letter yet, but I am totally doing it because yes. So there are those, and then my friend Anne told me I needed to read chapter 1. I think maybe it was on April 1st. It was like, spring something. She's like, read chapter 1 of Wind in the Willows. So I read it. Then I went to 5. Let's keep going. Let's see, because I enjoyed chapter 1. Let's go to 5. And then tonight I read from 5 to 12, which is the end of the book. I liked it. I'm giving it 4 stars. I didn't love it. Like, I just gotta read it. And, God, this is just like the best thing ever. You've got to read it. I didn't love it that way, but I liked it far more than I expected to, for one thing. And I think maybe I will enjoy it more each time I read it. I have a feeling this is one of those books that people love as much as they do because they grew up reading it. And so they heard the stories over and over, so they catch, all the little nuances that I'm missing, not because I'm not reading, but because there's so much to catch at the beginning. It's a very descriptive book, which is never my favorite. I don't like things overly descriptive, but it's not overly. It's just descriptive, but doesn't it have the most beautiful pictures? I mean, it's like, I love it so much. Anyway, so I really loved Rat and Mole and Badger and Otter. I loved all of their stories. The part that my friend likes the most, all the stuff with Toad, I found Toad really annoying. And I think I'm supposed to, don't get me wrong. But what I liked most about the Toad stories, frankly, was how Badger and Mole and Rat were doing everything that they could for their friend who is treating them terribly, but they're still doing the right thing because it's the right thing. That's what I liked most about it. Because frankly, I probably would have given up on, I would have been a bad friend. I'd have given up on Toad because I'm like, seriously? At some point, you just gotta walk away and let people suffer the consequences for their actions. And this guy took forever to repent. They turned out to be right. But yeah. But there were lots of lovely little things in here. I was going to be really happy if I could give it 3 stars. That was what I was like going for. It's like, please just let me be able to give it 3 stars. And definitely 4, maybe even 4.25. I'm still working on it. I think I want to read it again. But you know what? This is my first finished 60 by 60. So excited about that. So yeah, very, very happy to have that done. This week, so right now I'm reading the on audio, my audio book. It's the Pigeon Pie Mystery by Julia Stuart. I'm giving it a shot. It says interesting. This is a follow-up to the best-selling Tower, the Zoo, and the Tortoise. I'm hoping that I'm not making a mistake. I missed that part before. It says, when Indian Princess Alexandrina is left penniless by the sudden death of her father, the Maharaja of Brindor, Queen Victoria grants her a grace and favor home in Hampton Court Palace. Though rumored to be haunted, Alexandrina and her lady's maid, Pookie, have no choice but take the queen up on her offer. Aside from the ghost sightings, Hampton Court doesn't seem so bad. The princess is soon befriended by 3 eccentric widows who invite her to a picnic with all the palace's inhabitants, for which Pookie bakes a pigeon pie. But when General Majin Bagshot dies after eating said pie and the coroner finds traces of arsenic in his body, Pookie becomes the #1 suspect in a murder investigation. Princess Andrina isn't about to let her faithful servant hang. She begins an investigation on her own and discovers that Hampton Court isn't such a safe place after all. We're just going to leave it there. So this was from back in like 2012, I think. So I am reading that. Also this week, I started Truth Cursed. And I've only read the first 4 chapters. I'm on chapter 5. I just started it actually last night, Saturday night. Truth Curse by Angie Dickenson. I knew I was going to like this book, but I had no idea how much. And this is the one where they go off to a finishing school, and it turns out to be covert spy school. And, she's getting trained. And it has to do with the fact that, who killed her parents and why and all the things. So, she definitely is like all for it. Here's the deal. I'm going to love this book already. I did not want to stop reading last night. I was so frustrated that I had to. But also, guys, this is first person, and I wouldn't write it any other way. Most of the time, when there is a book that is first person, I'm like, couldn't you? Why? I just don't understand. This one, oh yeah, this one needs to be first person. And it's so cool that it is. I loved it. So, I'm only, 5 chapters in, but I'm going to continue that. This should be read by next week for sure. I can't imagine it won't be. And I pulled finally, because this is my March weapon on the cover, Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. I pulled my April one off too. The book that I'm doing, this is 2 books in one. I'm doing Money, Love, and Kate because it has to have a conjunction. So we have and. But I will definitely read The Story of a Nickel as well because I love The Story of a Nickel. It is a brilliant one. This is Eleanor Porter who wrote Pollyanna. I loved both of these books when I read them, back in 2000 or so. And I'm looking forward to rereading them because yes. So right now, technically, I only have these 2 in my audiobook going. So I think I'm going to pick out another book or 2 to add to this. But I do have my little alphabet dice. So I'm going to roll my alphabet dice and see what... Okay, there's that one's the top. I think this is H. H, yeah. So I'm going to find an H, and I'll be back. All right, so I found 2 that technically-ish work. One definitely does. It's kind of a double work. And then one that sort of does. And I can't decide which one I want to read. I mean, I technically want to read them both. So there's that. But I'm like, I don't know. So here we go. I have The Heiress and the Woodsman by Christine Hill Sunts. So we have Heiress, and technically Hill is in her name. So technically we kind of have a double here, but this is why I say we don't. But let me read just a little bit. Charlotte Carruthers must find her brother. Joshua Robertson needs the funds to free his. On the road into the Canadian wilderness, they become reluctant allies in a race to save their siblings before the brewing rebellion tears the colony apart. So, yes, I believe she's the one who wrote The Lawyer and the Laundress. So there's that one. Or I also have a double whammy without an article. Hope Even After starts with an H, so does her name, Heather Greer. This is the one where this one is a straight up romance, not at the same time. This is the one where her best friend that she, has always cared about, it has gone into addiction, and she's not going, there's a bug flying up there. Anyway, she's not going to have a relationship with someone like that, but she'll be there and she'll support him. She just won't enable him and all the things and where that goes. So these are the 2 options, and I think I'm gonna let you guys decide which one. So this is obviously historical. Does it say if it's... I'm assuming it's going to go romance in some direction or not. But, yeah, this is historical romance. This is technically contemporary romance. But it sounds like it's more my style of romance. But I do have quite a bit of contemporary going. Well, no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm a liar from the pit. You guys don't get to choose. I'm doing Hope Ever After. Because I was thinking I already had contemporary, but I just finished contemporary. That's what it was. I have going on right now historical fantasy that is historical-ish. It's like Victorian England-ish. So now we have a contemporary. So I have those. And I also grabbed, and this one's kind of a fun mix. I also grabbed the Castle Rose because I've been wanting to read it and I haven't done it yet. And what is wrong with me? So the Castle Rose is a kind of a blending of Phantom of the Opera with New Orleans and a bit of not really time travel as much as like someone not being bound by time kind of issue. Anyway, Bastien Roux lived and died 100 years ago. Kind of. He certainly feels like nothing more than a ghost as he haunts the abandoned Castle Rose Theater. His only solace found in the notes of the piano. That is, until Odette arrives. Odette Durand moved to New Orleans for a fresh start. The coffee-addicted local bookshop manager never expected to be pulled into something supernatural, and she certainly doesn't believe in ghosts. But seeing a man no one else can see and hearing music that shouldn't exist makes a girl question her beliefs and her sanity. We could just stop right there, you know. But yeah, so I think I'm going to add this to the pile. So this is my reading for the week. Let's put these. Got some dark spines here. Look at that. That's kind of fun. But yeah, this is my reading for the week. And looking forward to seeing how these go. Especially, yeah, because if anything, I'm heavily on the historical side because so is my pigeon pie mystery. So yeah, I think this is the best choice. So Hope Ever After is what I'm going to do. It's time. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Right now I have one vote for add the podcast to the channel. One. Does anyone have any objections? Please, if you don't want to post, send me an email. Chawna@chawna.com. It's that simple. Please, I want to know before I do it. But I need to make a decision soon because I do have people waiting for it. So please let me know. And yeah, what you reading? Have you read anything good that I need to know about? And there was at least one or two people who mentioned that the Crown of Chains or something like that might be a little dark. I need to know if it involves assaults on women. Because if it does, I need to know that before I start it. So please let me know that. That's one thing that will stop me from reading that. And I would love to know it before I start. Meanwhile, yeah, I'm going to get back to reading. Actually, I'm going to go make me something to eat. I haven't had my dinner yet. And it's a couple hours past time. No wonder I'm starving. So I'll see you on Friday with something. Don't ask me what. I have no idea. You have a good one.